Have you ever let someone's careless words ruin your entire day? What if you could walk through any situation, chaotic or calm, and remain unshaken inside? And what if the true secret to peace had nothing to do with the outside world, and everything to do with how you respond to it? Every day you're faced with little moments that test your calm, a thoughtless comment, an unexpected delay, a person whose behavior feels so frustrating it throws you off course. We've all been there. It's tempting to think, they ruined my mood or they made me angry. But here's a truth you rarely hear. No one can control your emotions unless you give them permission. Now imagine moving through your day unaffected by the noise. Imagine a sense of inner peace so deep that even the most irritating situations can't shake it. That's not a fantasy. It's a skill. It's called emotional mastery. In this episode, we're diving into 10 powerful lessons that can help you stop reacting impulsively, let go of lingering anger, and reclaim the power over your emotional life. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about building resilience, the kind that lets you face life with grace, clarity, and quiet strength. Whether you're facing criticism, trying to set boundaries, or learning to forgive, these tools will help you protect your peace and show up with confidence. By the end, you won't just understand emotional mastery, you'll be equipped to live it. Let's begin this journey to take your power back. Lesson 1. Your reactions are your responsibility. Picture this. You're having a good day. Maybe you're walking in the park or enjoying a quiet coffee. Then someone says something rude. Your chest tightens. Anger rises. Suddenly, your calm evaporates. But what if I told you they didn't ruin your day? You did, because here's the truth. Your emotions are yours, not theirs, not anyone else's. Only you decide how you respond. The world can throw chaos your way, but whether or not it disrupts your peace, that's up to you. Imagine wearing noise-canceling headphones in a busy city. The noise doesn't stop, it's just that it no longer reaches you. That's emotional mastery, learning how to filter what reaches your core. There's a quote that says it best. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Let's bring this to life. Suppose a coworker dismisses your idea during a meeting. Your instinct might be to feel disrespected. But what if instead you paused, took a breath, asked yourself, is this really about me, or are they stressed or insecure? In that pause, you unlock the power to respond with strength instead of impulse. It's not about ignoring your feelings. Anger and frustration are natural, but they don't have to control your next move. Here's a simple framework you can start using right now. 1. Pause and name the emotion. Say to yourself, I feel angry, or that hurt. This gives your mind space to observe. 2. Ask why. Was it what they did, or how you interpreted it? 3. Choose your response. Decide how your wiser, calmer self would act. Choose the action that protects your peace. Think of it like a superpower. The moment you realize that you don't have to react, you reclaim the part of you that was lost in the heat. Imagine walking through your life unbothered, not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. Have you ever let someone's careless words ruin your entire day? What if you could walk through any situation, chaotic or calm, and remain unshaken inside? And what if the true secret to peace had nothing to do with the outside world, and everything to do with how you respond to it? Every day you're faced with little moments that test your calm, a thoughtless comment, an unexpected delay, a person whose behavior feels so frustrating it throws you off course. We've all been there. It's tempting to think, they ruined my mood or they made me angry. But here's a truth you rarely hear. No one can control your emotions unless you give them permission. Now imagine moving through your day unaffected by the noise. Imagine a sense of inner peace so deep that even the most irritating situations can't shake it. That's not a fantasy. It's a skill. It's called emotional mastery. In this episode, we're diving into 10 powerful lessons that can help you stop reacting impulsively, let go of lingering anger, and reclaim the power over your emotional life. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about building resilience, the kind that lets you face life with grace, clarity, in quiet strength. Whether you're facing criticism, trying to set boundaries, or learning to forgive, these tools will help you protect your peace and show up with confidence. By the end, you won't just understand emotional mastery, you'll be equipped to live it. Let's begin this journey to take your power back. Lesson 1. Your reactions are your responsibility. Picture this. You're having a good day. Maybe you're walking in the park or enjoying a quiet coffee. Then someone says something rude. Your chest tightens. Anger rises. Suddenly, your calm evaporates. But what if I told you they didn't ruin your day? You did. Because here's the truth. Your emotions are yours, not theirs, not anyone else's. Only you decide how you respond. The world can throw chaos your way, but whether or not it disrupts your peace, that's up to you. Imagine wearing noise-canceling headphones in a busy city. The noise doesn't stop, it's just that it no longer reaches you. That's emotional mastery, learning how to filter what reaches your core. There's a quote that says it best. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Let's bring this to life. Suppose a coworker dismisses your idea during a meeting. Your instinct might be to feel disrespected. But what if instead you paused, took a breath, asked yourself, is this really about me, or are they stressed or insecure? In that pause, you unlock the power to respond with strength instead of impulse. It's not about ignoring your feelings. Anger and frustration are natural, but they don't have to control your next move. Here's a simple framework you can start using right now. 1. Pause and name the emotion. Say to yourself, I feel angry, or that hurt. This gives your mind space to observe. 2. Ask why. Was it what they did, or how you interpreted it? 3. Choose your response. Decide how your wiser, calmer self would act. Choose the action that protects your peace. Think of it like a superpower. The moment you realize that you don't have to react, you reclaim the part of you that was lost in the heat. Imagine walking through your life unbothered, not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. Lesson 2. Let go of the expectation that people will behave like you. We often feel disappointed by others not because they failed us, but because they didn't act the way we would have. You go out of your way to help someone, and when you need them, they're nowhere in sight. It hurts. But ask yourself, are you hurt by what happened or by what you expected? Here's the hard truth. People don't live by your standards. They live by theirs. Trying to make them act like you is like trying to control the weather. It won't happen. And the more you try, the more powerless you feel. Each person has a different set of beliefs, experiences, and priorities shaping how they act. When someone interrupts you, forgets to follow up, or doesn't show appreciation, it's usually not about you. It's about them. Let me give you an example. Suppose you work with someone who always cuts you off during meetings. Every time they speak over you, you feel disrespected. But then you realize, they do it to everyone. That's their habit. That's their personality. It has nothing to do with you. Letting go of the expectation that they'll change doesn't mean you approve. It means you're choosing not to let it take up space in your mind. As the Buddha said, expectations are the root of all suffering. And in emotional mastery, the fewer expectations you place on others, the more peace you create for yourself. Try this practical exercise. Identify your expectations. Ask, what did I expect them to do or say? Second, question them. Is that a realistic expectation based on who they are? 3. Release control. Instead of trying to change their behavior, ask, how can I respond differently next time? This doesn't mean you have to tolerate mistreatment. It means you stop tying your emotional peace to other people's decisions. Imagine the weight that lifts when you stop being surprised by people being who they are. You're not saying their actions are okay. You're just saying, I don't need this to control me. Lesson 3. Release the need to always be right. Think about the last argument you had. Maybe it was about something small, like the best route to take, or something deeper, like a personal disagreement. Did you feel that burning need to prove your point, to make them see that you were right? We've all felt that, but here's what we often miss. The need to be right doesn't bring peace. It brings tension. In most conflicts, it's not logic that drives us. It's ego. And ego doesn't want to understand. It wants to win. But here's a powerful truth. Being right isn't always worth the cost. Ask yourself, would I rather be right or be at peace? Letting go of the need to prove yourself doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise enough to know what really matters. Picture this. Someone accuses you unfairly. Your gut reaction is to argue, to defend, to fire back. But what if instead you said, I hear your point, and then walked away? You didn't surrender. You chose peace over pride. Releasing the need to be right doesn't mean giving up your values. It means choosing your battles with intention. Here's a way to practice. Pause when you feel defensive. That's your ego speaking. Ask, what's the real goal here? Do I want to be understood or do I want to be right? Respond from clarity, not reactivity. Sometimes silence is the most powerful answer. Relationships thrive when we stop trying to win and start trying to understand. When you stop trying to be right all the time, you make room for peace, growth, and connection. So far, you've learned 3 foundational tools for emotional mastery: the ability to pause and choose your reactions, the wisdom to let go of unfair expectations, the strength to walk away from the need to be right. Together, they form a solid starting point, but we're just getting started. In the next part of this journey, we'll explore how to handle criticism without crumbling, how to forgive without forgetting, and how to set boundaries that actually protect your emotional energy. Your peace is not something the world can give you. It's something you create within. And with every lesson, you get closer. Let's turn the page and continue. Have you ever noticed how heavy life feels when you expect others to live by your rules? It's subtle, but it creeps in. You hold the door for someone, they don't say thank you. You help a friend, but they're not there when you need them. Disappointment builds, not because of what happened, but because of what you expected. When you stop expecting others to meet your standards, something beautiful happens. You take back control, not of them, but of you. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It doesn't mean you abandon your values or become passive. It means you recognize that your peace is too precious to trade for someone else's behavior. It means you finally stop trying to control what was never yours to control. People are who they are, not who you want them to be. That truth, while hard to swallow, is the key to emotional freedom. The next time someone frustrates or disappoints you, take a breath and remind yourself, they are acting from their nature, not mine. And that's okay, because I choose how I respond. When you release the weight of expectation, you don't just free them, you free yourself from the emotional burden their actions once carried. That is liberation. That is strength. Let's now explore the next lesson in emotional mastery. Let go of the need to always be right. Think about the last time you were in a disagreement. Maybe it was a trivial debate, like which road to take. Or maybe it was something personal, a value clash with a loved one. Did you feel that deep desire to prove yourself? To convince them you were right? We've all been there, holding on to our version of truth like it's a shield, afraid that letting go means we've lost something vital. But here's the reality. The need to always be right is draining. It's often born from insecurity, from a fear that being wrong makes us less than. It doesn't. Being wrong doesn't devalue you, but needing to be right all the time can cost you your peace and your relationships. Ask yourself, would I rather be right or would I rather be at peace? The answer is simple, but the practice takes work. Our insistence on being right creates tension. It invites conflict. It escalates drama. Meanwhile, letting go of that need opens a doorway to understanding, to connection, to calm. Imagine someone makes a false accusation. Your instinct might be to correct them, to defend yourself, to point out every flaw in their argument. But pause. Ask yourself, will proving them wrong change anything that truly matters in my life? If the answer is no, then let it go. Let's say a friend insists that their way of handling a situation is better than yours. You could argue, or you could take a breath and say, I see where you're coming from, and I respect your view. You haven't surrendered. You've chosen peace over pride. The ancient philosopher Lao Tzu said, he who is attached to his views will never grow. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean silencing your voice. It means choosing your moments. It means understanding that not every disagreement needs to end in your favor. Here's how to start applying this mindset. Pause before you respond. When you feel the urge to argue, breathe. Ask, is this really worth my energy? Shift from combat to curiosity. Ask questions instead of firing back. Why do you feel that way? Opens doors. You're wrong slams them shut. Pick your battles. Save your energy for the conversations that truly matter, the ones tied to your values, not your ego. Over time, something incredible will happen. You'll feel lighter. You'll stop reliving arguments in your head. You'll walk away from conflict, not because you lost, but because you no longer need to win. And that's real power. The next lesson is just as important. Stop letting others define your worth. Imagine this. You're sharing an idea you're passionate about. Then out of nowhere, someone interrupts with a dismissive comment. Their words sting. Your confidence takes a hit. Why does this happen? Because too often we let others' words shape how we see ourselves. But here's the truth. Your value does not depend on their validation. Their compliments don't make you more valuable. Their criticisms don't make you less. Your worth is not up for negotiation. When you rely on others to define your self-worth, you hand them emotional power. And every time they speak, your peace rises and falls. Emotional mastery means taking that power back. Let's say a coworker criticizes your work, harshly and without kindness. You could spiral, ruminate, let it ruin your day. Or you could pause, reflect, and say, that's their perspective, not my identity. Detach your sense of self from their opinion. Marcus Aurelius said it best, it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own. This isn't about rejecting feedback. It's about filtering feedback. Constructive criticism helps you grow. But personal jabs, they don't belong in your mind. Here's how to protect your worth. Pause before reacting. That gap between stimulus and response, it's where power lives. Separate facts from opinions. Ask, is there truth in this, or is it just noise? Affirm your worth. Say it out loud if you have to. I am enough. I am still growing. I do not need approval to be worthy. Lao Tzu gave us another gem. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Releasing the need for approval doesn't make you careless. It makes you free. You stop carrying opinions that were never yours to hold. You walk into rooms without needing applause. You speak without second-guessing yourself. You become untouchable, not because people stop judging, but because you stop letting it matter. As you've learned, emotional mastery isn't about suppressing your feelings. It's about taking full responsibility for them. It's about understanding the roots of your reactions and choosing growth over ego. You've discovered that. Your reactions are yours to own. People will not act like you, and that's okay. You don't have to win every argument to walk away in peace. No one has the authority to define your worth but you. These truths, when practiced, begin to shape your life in powerful ways. You become less reactive, more observant, less driven by emotion, more guided by intention. So the next time someone criticizes you, triggers you, or disappoints you, pause, reflect. Choose not from a place of emotion, but from clarity. The more you choose calm, the more it becomes your default. And what happens then? You don't just navigate life, you lead it from within. Let's carry this forward, because in the next phase, we'll explore how to let go of grudges, how to establish strong emotional boundaries, and how to reclaim your energy from the people and situations that drain it. You're not just learning how to avoid conflict, you're learning how to become unshakable. Let's turn the page and keep going. Have you ever let someone's words unravel your self-esteem in seconds? One comment, one critique, and suddenly your confidence evaporates. But what if, in that exact moment, you had the power to choose a different response? The next time someone says something that challenges your confidence, pause. Ask yourself, am I letting this define me, or can I choose to focus on what I know to be true about myself? In that moment, you take back your power. You remind yourself that no one else has the authority to diminish your value unless you hand it to them. Real strength isn't about avoiding criticism. It's about facing it, absorbing what's useful, and discarding the rest. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that no opinion can shake it. When you stop letting other people's words define you, you create space. Space for self-respect, for confidence, for authenticity. And in that space, you begin to live a life that no one else can take from you. That brings us to one of the most important lessons on your path to emotional mastery. Protect your energy by setting boundaries. Picture this. It's the middle of your workday. You're focused, finally catching up on a mountain of tasks. Then your phone buzzes. A friend needs help, again, with something they could probably handle themselves. Or maybe a coworker drops a last-minute assignment on your desk, assuming you'll just say yes. You feel it. The tension, the frustration. You want to say no, but you don't. Why is that so hard? Here's the truth. Protecting your peace requires protecting your time and energy, and that means setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential. Without them, others dictate your life. They decide how you spend your time, what you focus on, and how much emotional space you have left for yourself. Think of this powerful truth. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you keep giving without limits, you'll burn out. You'll grow resentful. You'll feel disconnected, not just from others, but from yourself. Boundaries are how you honor your needs. They safeguard your emotional well-being. They help you stay connected without becoming consumed. Let's take an example. You're the go-to person for advice among your friends. They call at all hours. You love helping them, but it's wearing you down. Instead of silently stewing in resentment, what if you said, "I really care about you, but I need my evenings to recharge. Can we talk tomorrow instead?" It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's clarity, it's kindness with a backbone. Freedom, as Epictetus reminds us, is the ability to live as we wish. That freedom begins with choosing where your energy goes. Setting boundaries isn't about shutting people out. It's about creating a space where everyone can thrive. Here's how to start. Be clear and honest. Tell people what you can and can't do, calmly and directly. The more transparent you are, the more people respect your limits. Use I statements. Focus on your needs, not their mistakes. Say, "I need time to recharge after work," instead of, "You always interrupt my peace." Hold the line. Boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. When you follow through, people learn to take you seriously. Lao Tzu once said, "He who knows when to stop does not find himself in trouble." Boundaries are not walls. They're bridges to better relationships, built on respect, balance, and trust. So the next time you feel overwhelmed or taken for granted, ask yourself, have I been clear about my needs? Am I honoring my own boundaries? You're not responsible for fixing everyone else's problems. You are responsible for your own peace, your own energy, your own well-being. Protect it. The next powerful step is learning to detach from the opinions of others. Imagine this. You share something you're excited about, an idea, a new outfit, a passion project. But instead of support, you're met with judgment, sarcasm, or blank stares. That sting you feel? It's real. And if you're not careful, it can spiral into self-doubt. But ask yourself, why do their opinions matter so much? We've been conditioned to seek approval. From childhood, we learn to measure our worth based on others' reactions. But emotional freedom begins when you let go of that chase. Other people view the world through their own filters, shaped by their experiences, fears, insecurities. What they say about you often says more about them than about you. So why let their view define your reality? Your worth isn't up for debate. It doesn't rise and fall with opinions. Let's say a coworker comments on your appearance. That's an interesting choice. You feel the heat of judgment rising. But instead of shrinking, you pause and smile. You remind yourself, their opinion doesn't shrink my joy. When you stop needing validation, you start living for yourself. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." It sounds harsh, but it's liberating. True growth means not everyone will understand or approve, and that's okay. Here's how to begin detaching. Question the weight. When criticism stings, ask, why does this matter to me? What power have I given them? Reaffirm your values. Ground yourself in what matters to you, your goals, your principles, your truth. Let go. Don't cling. Picture their words as leaves in a stream. Notice them, but don't hold them. Lao Tzu said, "Care about people's approval, and you will always be their prisoner." This doesn't mean you ignore feedback. It means you filter. You welcome what helps. You release what harms. Detaching from opinions is like building an inner umbrella. The rain of judgment may fall, but it doesn't soak you anymore. Your path is your own. Not everyone will understand it, but you don't need them to. You just need to walk it, with intention, with courage, and with peace. Let's recap what you've unlocked. You've learned that your worth isn't determined by others, that boundaries are acts of self-respect, that validation isn't necessary for value. You're starting to see that the path to emotional freedom isn't about changing others. It's about changing your relationship with yourself. So the next time someone tries to define you, drain you, or judge you, pause. Remember who you are. Remember what matters, and respond from your strength, not your fear. Let's continue, because the next lesson will take you even deeper into emotional resilience and the power of letting go. How many times have you been in the heat of an argument, heart pounding, words bubbling to the surface, ready to unleash the perfect comeback? It's a familiar feeling. Someone says something cruel, offensive, or just plain petty, and every part of you wants to respond with fire. But what if you didn't? What if you chose silence instead? Silence is not weakness. In fact, it's one of the most powerful responses you can give. It's the act of choosing calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and peace over provocation. Silence doesn't mean you're ignoring the problem. It means you're prioritizing your emotional well-being. Picture this. You're in a meeting at work. You offer an idea, and someone interjects with a dismissive remark, trying to make you look foolish. You could snap back, defend yourself, or call them out. Or you could pause, breathe, and say nothing. Why? Because sometimes the best response is no response. It denies the other person the reaction they're hoping for. It stops the fire before it spreads. When you stay silent, you don't just control the conversation, you control the narrative. You show others, and more importantly yourself, that your peace isn't up for grabs. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best answer to anger is silence." Why? Because anger feeds on reaction. When you stay silent, you cut off its fuel. You break the cycle of conflict and become a calming force in a turbulent world. Silence is a shield. It deflects drama, it protects energy, and it gives you the upper hand, not in power over others, but in power over yourself. Here's how to make silence your strength. First, pause before reacting. When someone says something hurtful or tries to provoke you, take a breath. That space gives you clarity. Second, listen without defending. Let them speak. Let them reveal their motives, their insecurities. You don't have to justify yourself to people who don't understand your value. Third, only speak if your words add value. Ask yourself, will what I say improve the situation? Or is it just to satisfy my ego? A Buddhist teaching says it best. Speak only if it improves upon the silence. That doesn't mean you bottle up your feelings. It means you choose when and how to express them. Thoughtfully, powerfully. Let's be honest. How often do we regret what we said in anger? How many relationships have we strained by speaking before thinking? Silence removes that regret. It gives you time to reflect, to choose your next move carefully. And often silence says more than words ever could. So the next time someone tries to drag you into conflict, ask yourself, will responding help, or will it just pull me into the mud? When you choose silence, you're not walking away from the fight, you're walking toward peace. Now let's talk about another powerful emotion transformer. Gratitude. Gratitude is more than a feel-good practice. It's a weapon against anger, frustration, and despair. Imagine this. You wake up late. Your coffee spills. You miss the bus. At work, your boss criticizes your efforts. Everything feels wrong. Anger simmers. But then, you pause. You take a breath. And instead of spiraling, you ask, what's still good? It sounds simple, but this question can change everything. You remember, you still have a job, a home, people who care about you. You're healthy. You're breathing. That shift in perspective, however small, is the foundation of emotional resilience. You see, you can't feel gratitude and anger at the same time. Gratitude pushes anger out. It reminds you of what matters. It shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. Even when things fall apart, gratitude finds the light. Let's say you're stuck in traffic, running late for a big meeting. Your chest tightens. You feel the stress creeping in. But instead of yelling at the car in front of you, you try this. Think of 3 things you're thankful for. Maybe it's the podcast you're listening to. Maybe it's the fact that you even have a car. Or maybe it's the peaceful sunrise outside your window. The moment you practice gratitude, your brain calms, your breath slows, your frustration fades. Cicero, the Roman philosopher, said, "Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others." Gratitude gives birth to patience, to kindness, to compassion. It reconnects you with the part of yourself that isn't ruled by emotion, but guided by wisdom. So how do you make gratitude part of your emotional toolkit? First, pause and reflect. When anger arises, take a moment to ask, what am I grateful for right now? Even one thing can shift your state. Second, keep a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, write down 3 things that went well. They don't have to be big. A smile from a stranger, a good meal, a quiet moment of rest. This trains your brain to look for the good. Third, use gratitude to reframe. When something hard happens, ask, what can I learn from this? How could this be helping me grow? Gratitude isn't about denying challenges. It's about remembering that challenges are not the whole story. Let's say someone criticizes you harshly. Your ego wants to snap back, but instead you think, I'm grateful for this moment to practice humility. It doesn't excuse their behavior, but it puts you in control. And being in control of your emotions is the foundation of emotional mastery. Buddha once said, let us rise up and be thankful. For if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. And if we didn't learn a little, at least we didn't get sick. And if we did get sick, at least we didn't die. Gratitude isn't denial, it's discipline. It's the daily choice to seek light even in the darkest corners. Let's recap what you've discovered. You've learned the power of silence, how saying nothing can speak volumes and protect your inner world. You've learned the transformative strength of gratitude, how shifting your focus from anger to appreciation can dissolve frustration and restore peace. These lessons aren't just ideas. They are practices, tools, habits you can return to again and again. Every moment you pause before reacting, every time you breathe before speaking, every time you find something to be thankful for, you reclaim your power. You stop being controlled by others. You start becoming the master of your own experience. And that's what this journey is all about. Now let's continue forward, because the next chapter will explore how to let go of grudges, how to forgive without forgetting, and how to release the past so you can fully embrace the present. You're not just learning emotional strategies. You're becoming emotionally free. Let's keep going. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's a shift in perspective, a conscious decision to focus on what you have, not what you lack. It's the lens that transforms ordinary moments into meaningful ones and gives you the strength to rise above negativity. We didn't learn a lot today? At least we learned a little. Didn't learn a little? At least we didn't get sick. Got sick? At least we didn't die. This humble logic might sound simplistic, even humorous, but in it lies a deep truth. Gratitude doesn't require perfection. It only asks for presence. In moments of frustration or anger, gratitude invites you to pause and ask, what's still good? That single question can calm your nervous system, shift your focus, and remind you that peace is not something you find. It's something you create. So the next time anger creeps in, take a moment. Ask yourself, what can I be thankful for right now? You'll find that gratitude not only dissolves frustration, it replaces it with calm clarity. It reminds you that while you can't control everything, you can choose how you interpret the moment. Let's move to another powerful mindset shift. Reframe criticism as a tool for growth. Imagine you've just shared an idea you're proud of, at work, with a friend, or online. Suddenly, someone shuts it down with harsh, dismissive words. Your instinct might be to get defensive, to pull back, to feel small. That reaction is understandable. but it doesn't have to be your only option. What if instead of seeing criticism as an attack, you saw it as a mirror? One that reflects areas for growth? Every critique, no matter how it's delivered, can offer you something if you're open enough to look. Let's say you're preparing a presentation and a colleague tells you your argument is weak. You could assume they're trying to one-up you. Or you could pause and ask, is there truth in their feedback? How can I use this to strengthen my message? By choosing the second option, you take control. You transform what could have been an insult into an insight. There's a beautiful quote: criticism, like rain, should be gentle enough to nourish growth without destroying roots. This doesn't mean you must accept every harsh word that comes your way. Some criticism is born of jealousy, ignorance, or malice. Your job is to filter, keep the wisdom, discard the poison. Here's how to reframe criticism. First, pause before reacting. Let the initial emotional wave pass. Second, evaluate the source. Is this person offering insight from experience or lashing out from insecurity? Do they want you to succeed? Third, find the lesson. Even if it's poorly worded, is there something useful? Ask, what can I learn here? Now let's go deeper. Imagine a loved one criticizes your life choices, your career, your parenting, your beliefs. It stings. Instead of snapping or shutting down, you could say, I hear your concern. I'll think about it. You don't have to agree, but you've given yourself space to process it without conflict. That's maturity. That's emotional intelligence. Epictetus offered timeless wisdom. If someone speaks ill of you, do not make excuses. Simply say, they don't know my other faults. Otherwise, they'd have mentioned those too. This is Stoic humor and power. Not all criticism deserves space in your heart, but all of it can be a test of your growth. So the next time someone critiques you, ask, is there truth in this? What's their intention? How can I grow from this moment? As Lao Tzu said, knowing others is intelligence. Knowing yourself is true wisdom. Criticism, when received with grace, becomes a mirror, not a weapon. It reveals parts of you that might need reflection, adjustment, or simply more confidence. Embrace it, learn from it, and move forward stronger. And now perhaps the most difficult, yet most liberating lesson of all. Master the art of letting go. Picture yourself holding a burning coal, waiting for the right moment to throw it at someone who hurt you. You grip it tightly, determined to get justice. But while you wait, it burns your hand. This is what holding on to anger, grudges, and resentment does. It hurts you more than anyone else. Letting go doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you approve of what happened. It means you're done letting the past define your peace. It's about releasing the emotional weight that holds you back, so you can reclaim your energy and move forward with clarity. The Buddha said it simply, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Think of a moment in your life when someone deeply wronged you. Maybe they betrayed your trust, judged you unfairly, or said something that cut to the core. How much time did you spend replaying it in your mind? How many nights did you lie awake, reliving the pain, planning what you'd say if you had the chance? Letting go isn't about them. It's about you. You deserve to be free from that loop. You deserve peace more than you deserve revenge. Forgiveness isn't always reconciliation. It's a decision to stop carrying what isn't yours anymore. Start here. Acknowledge the hurt. Don't pretend it didn't matter. Decide you're ready to stop letting it control you. That decision is where freedom begins. Then shift your energy. Focus on what you want to feel instead. Peace, joy, love, purpose. You're not weak for letting go. You're strong enough to choose peace over pain. Let's reflect. You've now discovered how to transform criticism into growth. You've explored the power of letting go. And you've been reminded that gratitude isn't just a practice, it's a path. These tools, used consistently, make you unshakable, not because the world becomes less chaotic, but because you become more centered. Every time you choose silence over chaos, gratitude over frustration, reflection over reaction, and letting go over holding on, you heal. You become whole, and you create a life of inner freedom no one can steal. Let's continue. The next part of your journey will teach you how to live intentionally, love fully, and lead with quiet strength. Because emotional mastery isn't a destination. It's the way you walk through every day of your life. Let's take one last look at letting go, not just as a reaction to hurt, but as a conscious act of strength. Imagine this. You're at work. You share an idea in a meeting, something you've been working on for days. The room nods in agreement, but then a colleague speaks up and rephrases your idea as their own. The credit shifts and the spotlight moves away from you. What do? You could spend hours, maybe even days, stewing in frustration. You could rehearse every possible comeback in your mind, letting that one moment derail your mood and your productivity. Or you could let it go. Letting go doesn't mean the injustice didn't matter. It means your peace matters more. Your worth isn't determined by who gets credit. It's defined by your consistency, your growth, your future opportunities. When you let go, you reclaim your energy, and you focus it where it belongs. Forward. Lao Tzu gives us this profound reminder. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. Letting go isn't just about releasing grudges. It's about shedding perfectionism, letting go of control, letting go of the fear of failure. It's about leaning into life's unpredictability and trusting your ability to adapt. Here's how to begin practicing the art of letting go. First, acknowledge your emotions. You don't have to suppress how you feel. Feel the frustration, name it, but don't become it. Second, reframe the experience. Ask, what is this teaching me? How can I use this challenge to build my character? Third, redirect your focus. The past can't be changed, but your attention is yours to command. Keep it on the present, where your real power lies. Think of letting go like holding a balloon. At first, it feels light, but the longer you grip it, the more your hand tires. The tension builds. But the moment you release it, your hand relaxes, your body softens, and you feel free. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not be disturbed by what is outside your power. Let it go, and you will find peace." Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's choosing to put your energy into healing, building, and moving forward, rather than being chained to what you cannot control. It doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means deciding who and what deserves your energy. So the next time you catch yourself clinging to resentment or regret, ask, is this helping me grow, or is it keeping me stuck? If the answer is the latter, it's time to release. And in that release, you will rise. And now we've reached the heart of this journey. 10 powerful lessons that guide you toward emotional mastery and an unshakable sense of peace, no matter what life throws your way. These aren't just theories. They're tools, practical, proven, and empowering. They remind you that staying unbothered isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. The goal isn't to erase your feelings. It's to respond to them with wisdom. Emotional mastery doesn't require perfection. It requires presence, the ability to pause, the willingness to reflect, the courage to choose peace when everything around you invites chaos. Let's revisit what you've learned. You've discovered the strength in pausing before reacting. You've realized that your peace isn't something others give. It's something you protect. You've learned to set boundaries that honor your energy and to detach from the opinions of those who don't see your worth. You've reframed criticism as fuel for growth and seen letting go not as giving up, but as choosing freedom. Each of these lessons is a doorway, and every time you walk through one, you step into a version of yourself that is calmer, wiser, and more grounded. So what now? You practice. Because mastery doesn't happen in a day. It happens in every moment you choose silence over reaction, gratitude over complaint, boundaries over burnout, perspective over pride. Every time you make that choice, you become a little stronger. So keep going. If this episode brought you clarity, strength, or even just one moment of peace, share it. Send it to a friend who could use a reminder that they're not powerless. And if you've been on your own journey toward emotional strength, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, your struggles, or your own strategies in the comments. Because this is more than a video, it's a conversation, a movement, a commitment to live from the inside out, not ruled by emotion, but guided by purpose. Thank you for being part of this. And above all, remember, emotional freedom isn't a final destination. It's a daily practice. So keep choosing peace. Keep choosing clarity. Keep choosing to stay unbothered, no matter what life brings. Until next time. Take care and protect your peace.